time, and just so many different types of railroad tracks. Checkmate was one of them. I also have on my other recording device, I think. So just keep track of when I make things, when I think of them. Just anything that would fit under that category. Those are like the very simple playlists that I'll just, I pick out one theme or code or something that's been, and oh yeah. Part of my overall practice is why I pick videos and visual codes that were in it, like Fergie's just playing chess in a you already know. So everything I need. The correlation being the theme of chess. So any video I would do that's very simple. Sometimes it's fun to make pens, just see what you follow that one kind of outlier thread and pull together videos that only for that reason, kind of like entitled, and see if AI or shuffle could make sense out of words I picked and curated just for their titles so that you could string together sentences and see if you could ask AI questions. It was like a precursor to ChatGPT. So entitled were like en route, just a play on words. Entitled was just the very first one playlist, which is an archive collection playlist that I put together any videos, regardless of what they were about, simply for their titles as an experiment. A lot of them did have, but there were words that you could make basic sentences out of. And then from there, every other entitled became shortened to ET, just as collection archive playlists curated. Came out at the moment and time as I went, and it's having to do with my practice that are in line with my codes, themes that I set before, and that 2-hour video I explained a little bit, but they also developed over time. So, and both out of the chemical cycle codes, I guess, the imagery within each cycle, but personalized, there's only so much in my own life that just works the best. But yeah, usually there's a multitude of concepts that I'm combining or connections and layers, but every once in a while I do a playlist like Checkmate that's just a simple single line through, only picked for that one topic or theme or whatnot, so that being chess. Thinking of building a wardrobe, this is why I like these interesting some men who like metallurgy and all kinds of things like that can help me bring these things into reality and know how to construct and build and like for real, not in my mind, not a complex in my mind of the sense of a building complex, entanglement and a mall and complexity and overlapping timelines and connections like the 5 of Wands timelines and tracks of time and basically just build up a mall of building complex of 7,800 levels, bitches. Good luck trying to recreate it because there's just so many levels, beginning with each video that somehow just encapsulated and was in alignment or inspired by or incorporated or participating in this entanglement, visualization, demonstration of connecting visual code words and themes of the alchemical cycle and my own personalized, pulled out recurring repetition, just things that came to be known like high definition of signature essences, things that are the indicators of having to do with my art practice, and especially with stellium and fifth house astrology chart, and in and of themselves incorporating those various quintessence, usually at the very beginning. This 8 years ago, I picked videos for that reason as well, personal level. There's a lot of overlaps in my life that I couldn't have foreseen, just even like Vance Joy's laid on me. It was the bedding in this light blue silk is my high school bedding, college bedding, and the lucite bench, I had that as well, and I also had Victorian wallpaper print stamped on one of my walls in my loft apartment in junior year of college. And so just things like that. When I was in the hospital, I remember I was there for exhaustion and I just took medicine. They gave me medicine to just make me sleep, and but something still woke me up and sat on the end of my bed, and I was out of it, but I felt like a dip in the bed, and like someone sat at the end of my bed, and I was just so out of it that my mind was just like, get off my bed, like it was, I think, half asleep, and obviously, and then it sat back down again. Didn't come back, but yeah. And he does that in the video, and I wouldn't, like, am I half awake, not even sleeping, like, get off my guardian angel. Anyway, sidetracked. Yeah, so there's just so many overlaps that intertwined with my own life, both past and current, that I found that to be also indicators of what I should include, and naturally came about finding, coming across the internet, worked with my astrology chart, and just all sort of added up in different ways, and so in and of themselves, the videos are pieces, but also demonstrations of that, and you could just connect all these different videos through these various codes and themes. Is how I designed it, and that was the point, connections, communication, and very large variances of data. That's what the Picasso platform was originally designed to do, specifically for the research group that I was invited to be part of when I was in New York. It was going to be learning about DNA. Went up to the Einstein College of Medicine up in upstate New York and contributing as a creative consultant, I guess. Just ways of reimagining, looking at data, especially large variance data. That's why the graphs move, because all the meta trends or meta phases or metadata is what you're comparing there, all the various axes. That way you can compare different ways or different, like, just different comparison factors, scales, and see the patterns they make in different comparisons. But yeah, so that's one way of doing that, and easy to identify where you are in the chemical cycle. Just what code markers we come across, and visual codes, and whatnot. At least for me, that's how I sort of structured my forecasting alchemical classic cycle system. Just like each phase stands for a word in the alchemical cycle. Classic also does, like, see, combinatoric play, cleansing elements, all systems go, shifting alternate realities, and so forth. Visualism, and come together. I use innate base pairs for divided up to 24. That's 3, 8. I just tried out a ton of different ways of incorporating different factors and elements that would be the basis or foundation as much as I could think of as far as different parts of the mind and what they would correlate to. I'm thinking about substitution and all these things like that. But in any case, yeah, this was my little building a wardrobe. Yeah, for a physical wardrobe, and need someone who's knowledgeable about everything glass, but making things like that. And so yeah. Some reminders of myself, they don't control me. It's just, in case I wanted to make that, it's not a very complex playlist. But yeah, just the single thread line through. Just point out one of those codes or themes out of all the reasons I picked videos to begin with, and new one. So that's how the playlist came about. Some other ones that I think would be interesting, but I feel like we could get a lot more in depth, and it's funny to not take it so seriously, but at the same time, anyone can make a playlist, anyone could buy a can of soup or a Brillo box. It's what you do with it, I guess, and how you present it in perspective that is different or whatnot. That, like I keep saying, like, why put a line anywhere on that canvas or choose a color, or if not working right off of reality, but even still choosing a perspective. So why put something together in some sort of digital format in a particular order or way, which I think would affect the shuffle lineup, would not, because it's just what it's pulling from in that order. I don't know. Exactly. I was going to be learning about coding as well. I got into that hybrid artist coding school, artist residency, coding school, school for poetic computation. And with my value ideas project that I proposal and perceptual learning idea, it's kind of plays in both. It's just, that's why money is freedom, because money allows you to do things, go to school, to not stress, not have to work. Because that would have been probably most of my time for that. School and residency. But I just try to continue that here. Whatever way I could. Not so much coding, although it's some kind of other kind of play on coding, code words. Each house designer has their own sort of codes, kind of like that. What you associate to your own brand and establishes indicators of your own practice and whatnot. So over the years they accumulated, and my own, sort of take on the alchemical cycle. Three of everything put together. So that's that. And there's just little offshoots and experiments like that to see what comes about. I'm using a bit up out here.